Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. My name's Chad. Take a dive on sports. And this is just going to be a recap of all of the conference realignment that has now transpired thanks to the first domino falling. Now, before we go into all of this, if you could just go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, give me a like. I'm really pleased you two guys help promote this channel. You can also subscribe. A lot of you guys review my work. I love you all for doing it. I mean, if you subscribe, it's cost you a dime. Helps me provide more entertainment value for you. Now, if you case you've been living underneath the rock, and I guarantee since you're watching this, you have not. When Oklahoma, Texas, rumor mill started to circulate that they were possibly leaving the Big 12 for SEC, and then they actually submitted and got approved, that started a whole process across all of college landscape. I've mainly focused on the FBS aspect of this. We saw the Conference USA almost completely collapse after getting rated by the American, after the American got rated by the Big 12. You saw the Sun Belt going there after the Conference USA as well. Saw FCS schools move up, some of them not really ready to move up yet. So there's a lot of different little things kind of going on there, but I only covered the football side. There's a whole other element to go along as well in terms of all of the aspects of the Division I athletics, especially the other big money maker for colleges, which is basketball. So basically, I'm going to start going down from going from all the conferences from alphabetical order. So there's going to be no, time frame how everything went. I'm just going to go, hey, this is, this conference is what's happening with them, and just kind of go down from there. So the first one we'll talk about is the America East. This is a very small little conference up there in the northeast part of the U.S. That is a basketball centric conference. And one of its members, Hartford, has decided to forego Division I and start the process of downgrading their sports down to Division III. This is actually going to look like it's going to start this cycle, this sports calendar year, this academic year, and should be completed by the year of 2025. And then Stony Brook, who is also a member of the Colonial Football Conference in the FCS level, has now accepted full membership into the Colonial, which will be effective July 1st of 2022. Now, the American, we kind of know some of those. We covered that, and Cincinnati, Houston, and Central Florida are all leaving for the Big 12, more likely by 2023. And during that time frame, the American one is also bringing in the Conference USA members, Florida Atlantic, UTSA, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and Charlotte at the exact same time frame to get the numbers back up and pretty much make the American the new Conference USA, as some people put it. You probably see the other Stillworth members maybe start looking for new homes as well. It's a possibility. Now, for the ASUN, this is one that's looking to start their FCS conference this upcoming year. But one of those founding members of that football conference, they brought in Austin P. from the Ohio Valley, and then one of their founding members to start this football conference, Jacksonville State, has already accepted a invitation to join Conference USA by 2023, as well as other ASUN member Liberty. The ASUN's looking at other institutions out there to kind of replace those two, and seems to be top on the radar. Our Division II is Southern Indiana, basically because they've had 28 tournament selections out of Division II, so it's a prime basketball program that could really help lift ASUN's profile in that sport. But Southern Indiana looks like it's being courted by quite a few conferences, so gotta look in that one. And then their football conference, there could be other ramifications, because once they lose Jacksonville State, their membership will drop down the threshold of doing that, but I have a feeling I know where those members are going to come from. More to follow. Next up is the A10. A10 right now is not losing anyone, but Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers out of the Missouri Valley, has decided to leave there and take their act east and join the A10 to make it a 15-member conference. So right now, there's no other plans on adding a 16th member, or is there any thought process right now of anyone leaving? So I think more's going to follow for that one. So we'll try to keep an eye open and for that one. For the Big Sky, we know Southern Utah's leaving the conference in July 2022 to become a member of the WAC. The Big South, this one is going to have some issues. Hampton, who they just brought into the conference, is already walking out the door to the Colonial, and their football member now is probably going to be a full-time member in the Colonial as well, which puts their football schools in jeopardy because once again they're below the threshold. So I have a feeling the Big South and the ASUN will combine forces once again. I think the Big South's going to probably dropping the football and let the ASUN run with it, much like the A10 Colonial did a few years back. A10 used to be the FCS conference in that region, and then they stopped sponsoring. The Colonial picked up the mantle. Things are going to happen with the Big South and the ASUN. The Big South's going to drop the football sponsor, and then ASUN just pick it up. And for the Big 12, you already know that Oklahoma and Texas are leaving. Right now, it's the time frame that's still being worked out of when they will leave for the SEC. As of right now, it is still tentative on the July 2025. Now, with that being said, you still have Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. I think right now they're all trying to gun for the 2023 season. As well as BYU has already submitted that they'll be in there 2023. If you do that, and then you'll have this huge 14-member conference that Oklahoma's going to be stuck in. Oklahoma Texas is going to be stuck in for 2 years. So they're going to look and try to find a way to get out of it as quickly as possible. Now for the Colonial, I've already mentioned that Hampton, Monmouth, and Stony Brook will all be coming in as a full-time members. One of those is already a football associated member. The other two are coming out of the Big South. And James Madison will be leaving earlier than expected for the Sun Belt due to the Colonial's actions against James Madison for having them being competing in or claiming conference championships in other sports because of their departure. So they're going to tell the Colonial, just give them the one-figure salute and head to the Colonial or Sun Belt early. And as I've said, Conference USA almost collapsed. This whole conference realignment, and this conference always seems to be when the one that's always on the cusp of either collapsing or they're the ones that are aggressive in terms of expanding. And this cycle is no different. You saw almost the entire over half of the conference leave. When you didn't, you said, like I said, you have UTSA, North Texas, Rice, UAB, Florida Atlantic, Charlotte all leave for the American, and then you lose Southern Miss, Marshall, and Old Dominion to the Sun Belt. Now, after all those the departures, I left Conference 05, and then I was saying this pretty much as a conference that's pretty much dead because you had the possibility of Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee moving up to the MAC. UTEP being the loner out there in the Mountain Time Zone, so far away from the nearest school, Louisiana Tech. And I didn't see anything in the landscape of the FBS level that was going to help them. I knew James Madison was probably one of the best options out there to move up, but why would they go to that conference? And they have announced they were going to the Sun Belt, so that really took them out. I already knew that UConn UMass would be no upgrade for them. But But then they start, looking at, hey, this is when Sam Houston and Jacksonville State news popped up, and I stood firm saying Sam Houston State should not move up. They're not ready yet. I found articles out there saying they were nowhere and they're ready. They did it anyways. Prove me wrong. Made me eat my own words. And now, Conference USA didn't add in New Mexico State, Sam Houston, Jacksonville State, and Liberty to their ranks to get them up to 9. And right now they're staying put. So it'll be kind of, be difficult to see where this particular, if Conference USA is going to be viable later on, because it's still a huge footprint for this conference. You're talking about, Virginia all the way to that Texas, New Mexico border. Right there in that El Paso, Las Cruces area. Still already down to, southern Florida with a FIU. So I don't think this conference is going to last much longer. I think it's just on life support. I really do. But as of right now, this is the conference. Then the Horizon League ended up losing UIC. And right now they have no particular member in mind to replace them. Rumor is they're also looking at Southern Indiana to join. The Metro Atlantic lost Monmouth as they become a full member of the Colonial. Missouri Valley, right now Loyola left for the A10. So to replace the Chicago market, they grabbed Illinois Chicago out of the Horizon League, and then they also from the Ohio Valley, now they're going into the southern part of the U.S., grabbed Belmont and Murray State. So really stretched that footprint of Missouri Valley and makes things a little interesting. Speaking of Ohio Valley, as mentioned, they lost Belmont and Murray State. Also, Austin Peay also left for the ASUN. So they lost a few schools right there in that Kentucky, Tennessee area. Well, they reached out and grabbed Little Rock out of the Sun Belt. So they went further out south. And they have a slew of D2 programs to look at as well. They're also looking at Southern Indiana. Maybe kind of help with that Eastern Illinois aspect. Grand Valley State, Hillsdale, and Lincoln Memorial are all being considered from the D2 to move up into the Ohio Valley. We got to see how that one kind of goes. And we know SEC is grabbing Oklahoma, Texas. Southland lost UIW for the WAC because of changes in the WAC. Almost lost McNeese State, but they were able to keep them there. And then they added from the Lone Star Conference in D2, Texas and Commerce, who will start beginning that process the 2022 season. In the Sun Belt, was one of those grand schools decided conferences to go after Conference USA, grabbed Marshall, Old Dominion, Southern Miss. Also got St. James Madison to move up from the FCS level to FBS level. That will happen in 2022, the 3 from Conference USA the following year. And they actually lost both of their non-football members as they left for other conferences. So instead of being 16 members of basketball, there's just going to be a 14-member league across the board. The West Coast will be losing BYU. In 2023 for basketball. Could be sooner. Right now I haven't heard anything about that. And then the WAC. And the WAC has a lot of different little aspects going on. I've already mentioned that they're getting UIW and Southern Utah in 2023. UT Arlington has now come back to the WAC and will be there for the 2022 basketball season, in which they were a member earlier for a couple years, the 2012 to 2013 seasons. And also Chicago State's announced they are leaving effective the 22 season. Right now there's no conference that they are getting aligned to, no downgrades as of yet. So possibilities, Missouri Valley, Ohio Valley, Summit League, Horizon League. So any one of those leagues right there, I think they'll probably be best suited to kind of join. As of right now, that is it for the conference realignments. As you see, a lot of schools are moving around. It's going to affect a lot of other sports, especially the FCS football level, I really see the Big South Conference going away, and those members become part of the ASUN and their football conference. You created the Super League with the SEC at 16 members. Returning that to the FBS level, a la the WAC, and you saw how well that worked out for the WAC. It didn't last very long, 3 or 4 years, and they just started to disintegrate. So we'll see how well it works for the SEC. One thing I'll kind of throw out there is a possibility. I think I mentioned this before in one of my videos. And looking at the some of the basketball conferences, you had the A-10 with 15. The Big East with 11. I have a feeling St. Louis could, not saying they would, could leave the A-10 and join the Big East, even out those two conferences. I have mentioned that before. Chances of that happening probably slim, because I haven't heard anything in terms of St. Louis leaving or the Big East looking to add a 12th member. So it's really hard to determine if that's a viable I think it's a viable action because it gives another school right there close to Creighton for the Big East, because their closest one is Marquette and DePaul, right there in Milwaukee, Chicago area. The A-10 did add Loyola Chicago to help offset St. Louis because they're the furthest west school. Their closest at that time frame was Dayton, and outside Cincinnati. But I think to kind of help even out the conferences, I would say have St. Louis move from the A-10 to the Big East to even everyone out. Pretty much the same level. Also, big names. I mean, have St. Louis go back in with DePaul and Marquette. They used to, battle quite a bit back in the days of the old Conference USA. So I really like to see that aspect kind of go in there. But, more likely not. Just saying. So, there we go. That's the recap thus far of the realignment right now for Division I. If there's any more, I'll try getting more videos out in terms of covering those aspects. And let me know down below what you think of some of these moves. Are some of these moves great for these conferences? Some of them actually help stretch their footprint more into more geographic areas. Others, I kind of find a little question myself. But hey, man, it's a life of college athletics. Try to find your place in the landscape to give your student athletes the best opportunities to succeed and for a chance for provide some needing recruitment aspects for your schools to kind of increase your enrollment. The whole thing. Also money. A lot of these TV contracts, especially for the FBS level, the college landscape, some conferences get probably a little bit more money than others. Probably better access to the tournament. Hey, just let me know down below what you think. Hey, while you're there, you can also hit that thumbs up for me once again. You can also subscribe, hit that bell notification until next time I post a video, and I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.